Morning, Raptor Freaks. Lexi Otts here. Saturday morning. Yeah, Happy New Year's. This is the last day of 2022. Thank God. 2022 has been real brutal to us in the last couple months, and we're ready to move on to flip that calendar over and start over the new year 2023. And hopefully we'll have a better winning clip. We are finishing up the month of December 5-10 on the main roster. And I hate that. I hate that so much. I always want to be above 500 for the month. And well, we didn't do that this month. And that's too bad. It is what it is. But at least we won last night, beating the Phoenix Suns here in Toronto at Scotiabank Arena. Really, really fun stuff on the game last night. First of all, let me do my 3 stars. I'll get it out of the way, and then I'll get right into y'all's comments, and we'll react to the game last night. Obviously, number 1 star of the night last night was Gary Trent Jr. Fantastic stuff from Gary. This man is playing for his contract. He may not necessarily be totally playing for the team. He's playing for his value and wanting to drive it up and make it very high so that he can get the most money this summer. 11 for 22, perfect 500 shooting, 4 of 11 from 3, 9 of 9 at the line. I love that. 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 steals, 1 block, 35 points, a plus 18. Gary Trent Jr., the number 1 star last night. Not only the 3-point shooting looked really good, hitting them when they're open. Sometimes they're too open. He's missing them. He needs to have more guys around him to make them. He needs to make it more difficult on himself. And then also getting in those passing lanes and causing disruptions. In fact, the Raptors overall did some very good work against the Suns and made them very turnover prone last night. An amazing amount of turnovers. And that is a huge part of why we won last night. 25 turnovers for the Suns last night. That is fantastic. 6 alone by Chris Paul. You know that something's good when you get a Hall of Famer like Chris Paul to turn the ball over 6 times. So good job, Raptors, on the defensive end causing turnovers. Second star of the game, Pascals Record, 41 minutes, 8 of 17 from the field, 2 3-pointers, 8 of 10 at the free throw line, 2 rebounds, 6 assists, plus 20, 26 points. Not a bad game by Siakam. Very much doing the things that he does that we need him to do as far as like scoring a lot at different times in the game, just kind of being dominant and kind of just bugging and going and trying to get whatever he wants. And he was fairly successful last night. Not looking too awful or like too ineffective or any of that kind of stuff. Third star last night to me was OG Anunoby. 6 of 10 from the field, 2 3-pointers, 2 of 2 at the free throw line, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, 16 points. Now, OG got in foul trouble last night, and it caused a little bit of trouble for us. And that last bit of time where he was out was like almost a whole quarter from the third quarter into the fourth quarter. But he came back in and he was still able to do good things. I worry about him sitting too long and not reasserting himself to being involved in the game after he's been out that long. Sure, he may play hard and play tough for a while, but if he gets in foul trouble, I worry about him sitting on the bench and getting disengaged from the game. And then when he comes back out, he's not as good as he was to be in the game just because he's been sitting. So it looked pretty good last night. They closed out the game very well last night. Finally, we win a close game that could have gone either way. And the really fun thing about how we won it was our youngsters stepping up and hitting 2 key threes. Fantastic job, Scottie. You did really well last night. I would have made you one of the stars and your honorable mention for sure, Scottie Barnes, with what you did last night. 38 minutes, 4 of 12 from the field, 1 3-pointer, 2 of 2 from the free throw line, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals, a block, plus 14 and 11 points. Now, see, he could have scored more, maybe we say. But no, listen, Scottie was doing so much glue stuff last night and really important defensive stuff. He started the game guarding Chris Paul, which is incredible in itself, a 2-year player as big as him guarding Chris Paul and having some good effect on it. And then he was switching to Ayton. So it's like this man was guarding 1 through 5 for the Suns last night. And he found a big, huge 3 like late that he had the confidence to take and make. And then boom, after that, who was it that made the next clutch 3? Amazing from the corner. Christian Koloko bombing the 3 right in front of the Raptors bench. And it's really funny what they said about that. He's been practicing that 3 like crazy with the development coaches, which I take development coaches as being Rico Hines, Earl Watson kind of guys. and they've been working on that three really hard, and they know that he's got it, and they're like, you know what? Let's go ahead and keep him shooting it. Hang on a second. I forgot that was on. All right, and turn that off. That's just a little bit less noise. But yeah, so really cool to see Christian get his first 3-pointer ever within the last 2 minutes of the game last night. who would have put any money on that? Like if you put a parlay on Christian Koloko to hit a three in the last 3 minutes of the game last night to help the Raptors win, you would have won big money, because that is not a normal occurrence. And it had ever happened ever before. So, all right, let's check y'all's comments. What a great way to finish up the year. Beating the Phoenix Suns, on getting a win, winning on a good note. Let's get out of this season now. All right, let's see. All right, first question, first comment in is Isaac Campbell. Good to see Raptor Freak Isaac Campbell. That's how you return in style. City boys. City boys. Yes, Isaac Campbell, City boys. That's right. Them city boys are out there. Now, speaking of not city boys, we're talking about some country boys. The Raptors 905 are in the country against Iowa once again today, 3 o'clock p.m. There will be a Raptors 905 game on New Year's Eve today. It will be at noon time, I think, at their time. No, maybe it's not noon. Maybe it's 1. I think they're like Midwest time. So maybe it's just like 2 p.m. at their time in Iowa. I don't know. Either way, y'all tune in and watch the Raptors 905 play their second game of the season against the Iowa Wolves. Hopefully we can be 2-0. Our referees for that game today is Brett Haskell. Yeah, that's the guy that got Mike Brown really mad that one game against Sacramento. Brent Haskell is the ref, head crew chief, and then Cameron Jelenes and Kenneth Gardner are referees for the Raptors 905 game against Iowa. 3 o'clock today, Eastern time. Check them out and support those Raptors 905 also. Delano Banton, that's right, baby. And Ron Harper Jr. and Saban Lee and Sterling Brown and Reggie Perry, David Johnson, Hashani Gravette. Watch those guys. They're fun. And hopefully they'll win today too. All right, excuse me. All right, next question. Next comment is Logical Raptors Fanatic. Mike, good morning. Check out Logical Raptors Fanatic on YouTube, a great Raptors-related channel on YouTube. All kinds of facts and Project Truth always. Yes, Mike. Interesting developments on the roster. Not going to lie, this signals a couple of things. Ooh, this is good. See, Mike's paying attention to them waiving Justin Champagnie yesterday or the day before, and also what it signals for what's going to happen with our roster build and maybe some of the changes that are coming in the near future. So let's see what Mike thinks. I'm very intrigued. This signals a couple of things, but most in the matter at the moment, we're looking at the age 24 group as viable enough to support a run with OG, Flynn, Gary Trent Jr., Dowtin, 3 of 4. Okay, so Mike's looking at age cohorts. Age cohort of the 24-year-olds on our team, and he's thinking that this is maybe the flagship age where we're carrying our team like to anchor the older guys like Pascal and Chris and Fred, and then with the younger guys like Scottie below that, Scottie and Precious, that we have. That 24 is kind of in the middle, and then we have a few guys like that. Now, listen, we got to talk about something real quick because there's a lot of talk about Gary Trent Jr. these days. And they want to trade him. This whole thing with his contract this summer is going to be some money. He's going to get paid. Obviously, he's playing to get paid. And he's playing really well. This whole month of December, he's played very, very well. Jordan Bolton all over Twitter talking about how, Relly is playing good, and he played really good in the month of December, and you can't take him out of the starting lineup at this point. In some ways, I think he's right because we just need the offense. The offense of Gary Trent Jr. is just something like we're in the desert and we're thirsting, and he is the water. We need to stay alive. And in some ways, I don't like the idea of moving him at this point. He just looks too valuable to us, and that we just need him because we don't have enough of what he is on our team. And then it would maybe be really stupid to trade him. It may be worth it to ride this season out with him. And even if we lose him in free agency at the end of the year and the money clears up, then, that may be all right. But we just may need him just to have offensive legs for the rest of the season. So I don't know how to go about this. In some ways, he has a lot of trade value now because he's just rising to the occasion lately. And I was worried he'd have a bad game last night because he's not starting. I mean, because he was starting. He's played so well off the bench. I kept making me think, well, maybe he just needs to come off the bench. If he has a stinker when he starts, I'm like, yeah, he needs to keep coming off the bench. But he played really, really well last night. And the important thing about Gary is his shooting percentage. If he shoots like a 4 for 20 game, that's not a good game to me. But if he shoots a 50% game, that's a really good game for me to him, like seeing him do what he did last night. So there's a lot of questions about Gary Trent Jr. and what his near future and what's going to happen with him with the Raptors. Who knows? I can't even tell you at this point. It's so ambiguous as far as we probably really do need him on this team, but also he's probably the most valuable and most useful trade piece on our team at the same time. So I don't know what they're going to do. I just got to trust in Bobby and Masai that they'll make the right decision with him. I don't care if we play him for the rest of the season. We don't trade him in the middle of the season and he walks at the end of the year. I think that that's fine. Some people get mad when they don't, we don't get anything for guys and they just leave. No, I'm not like that. If we want to have the opportunity to re-sign him, that is the best way we can do it. And I don't know. I don't know. It's gonna be so weird. We're gonna have to see how things go. And it's crazy watching a team like Phoenix play against us last night, seeing DeAndre Ayton and just how different he was from Steven Adams and Zubac this week. He's not engaged to help the Phoenix Suns to win in the right way right now. It's very true. And also, we did a really good job on him last night. That's for sure. Nick Nurse even said that the plan that he had for Ayton last night totally worked to a T. And he wouldn't divulge exactly specifically what he was doing to him. He said, because we're going to probably play them again. We play them one more time. So I don't want to tell you what I did to Ayton, is what he said in the press conference after the game. He said, I'm not going to tell you what I did to Ayton because we have to play them one more time still. But listen, he may not even be on the team by then, Nick. So who knows? But it's probably best that you don't say anything just in case. But yeah, DeAndre Ayton is not long for the Phoenix Suns. That man is on his way out. You could tell from last night. Also, Mike saying cutting Justin was tough, but Dowtin, Flynn, and Banton are better at the moment, so he was going to need to beat one of them. And Flynn is showing a next step. Dowtin is solid in playmaking, and Banton long-term use, big ups. Yeah, I agree with this. I mean, if you're looking at the hierarchy of things, these guys are definitely more valuable in some ways around the team. And I really love Jeff Dowtin once again getting into the game for only 4 minutes last night, but being super effective and just looking like he really like good things happen whenever he's on the court, whether it's like offensively or even on the defensive end. He's a dogged defensive guy and he does a really good effort. I'm telling you, this man needs to be on our main roster, Nick. You guys are going to have to convert him and get him involved as a real backup point guard for us because he is the answer. A lot of us are wondering, we need a backup point guard. Well, Jeff Dowtin Jr. could actually be that backup point guard. We already have him. You just got to let him play, Nick, because I think he's that guy. He really is. He's so solid. And I just love like the bit of passing back and forth between guys, that little bit of thing that he did with Thad in the game last night. He's done this the last couple games, had really good synergy between some of our main guys like Scottie Barnes and now Thaddeus Young last night. Really nice, quick pass to him to get an easy layup. And I love his unselfishness, but also when Jeff is forced to shoot, he is a steady guy. Like we have a good feeling that he's going to make the shot. Now, meanwhile, Malachi, what the fuck, man? You get in the rotation, you're playing well, but you and Wancho have just been dead for shooting recently. Malachi Flynn, 0 for 4 and an 0 for last night. And then Hernan Gomez didn't shoot anything last night. He just went out there and played and did cardio, as they would say on Scottie's Twitch. He was out there doing cardio last night, got 1 rebound in 5 minutes. But he was a +2. But Malachi, man, seeing that you missed those 4 shots that you took is really bad. We need you to hit those open shots. And when you don't hit your open shots, it makes me be like, yeah, I don't want him getting minutes as much. I'd like Jeff to get those minutes because we know he's going to fill those minutes with quality because he doesn't have to, he could be missing shots. He's going to do all kinds of other things to help us, whether it's getting assists, doing big things on defense, or just in general, good stuff. Jeff Dowtin Jr. is the man. I'm going to be a huge stand for Jeff Dowtin Jr. and Kem Birch. Those are my guys. that I've decided those are my two dudes that I just guarantee certified, Raptor Freak certified players that you need to play Nick Nurse, Kem Birch, and Jeff Dowtin Jr. These are the secrets to your success. Get them out there and get them some burn, because those guys will carry you home to more W's. Trust me, they are those kind of dudes. Just trust me on that. Yeah. All right. Monique is here. Good to see Raptors super fan Monique Lawrence. Always so happy to see her. Last year's community champion. She's a champion of the community all the time here in the Raptor Freak Nation. That's for sure. Gary Trent Jr. shutting up the critics. Not only that, Nick Nurse sending a message to the whole team. What a good, great game. What a game. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Monique, and Happy New Year's. Yes, they had a 20-minute meeting where there was only one voice in the room. And that was the voice of Nick Nurse telling them what they've been doing wrong. And in some ways, he was really hard on them. This is one of those kind of 20-minute film sessions where he's just telling them the cold, stark truth, whether they like to hear it or not. Y'all are sucking. And this is what y'all are doing wrong. And this is what cannot continue to happen. This, and this. And he can get real specific, and he can be pointing fingers and say, Scottie, you, Pascal, you, OG, you, Christian, you. And he's telling them specifically what they're not doing right and showing really tough clips in the film session yesterday. And nobody said nothing. They just sat there and looked. And they probably were like, oh, man, this sucks. But I hate this. And I want to change this for Coach because he's right. He's right. We need to fucking get our heads out of our asses and play better. And that's what we're going to do tonight against the Phoenix Suns. And that's what they did. They came out a ball of fire and kicked some major ass. The defense looked so good last night. And that 30-point a quarter test was very good last night. Let's look and see what the Suns scored last night. 24 points in the first quarter. We beat them 33-24. I love that. The second quarter, they got a little bit closer to that 30-point goal with 27. Did outscore us by 7 in that quarter, but we were still leading by 2 at halftime. And then in the third, they got 28, getting real close once again to getting that 30 points. But we outscored them 33. And then the last quarter, we outscored them 27-25. They only got 104 points. We got 113. And that's what I'm saying. You get a Western Conference team to score less than 30 points a quarter, boom, we have a chance to beat them because we can get between 110 to 115. So, that's what we needed last night, and that's what we needed to cut their water off. Of course, it hurts them to not have Devin Booker or Cam Payne or Cam Johnson or any of those guys that we're missing. But you know what? This is how it is. This is part of the way it works in the season. We got a good luck thing that we passed their ship in the night last night when they didn't have those sharpshooters. And, tough luck. Teams that earlier in the season that had to face them with them. It's just like that in the season. We have had bad rosters when we've had guys hurt and not as good as our team is, and other teams have benefited from it. Well, now we get to benefit a little bit from the absence of Devin Booker, and I have no problem with that. We need to catch some lucky breaks right now with how our season has been going, because we've been catching unlucky breaks the other way. And this is what we need, is more games like this. I want to play the best opponents, don't get me wrong, but sometimes when you're in trouble, you need a little bit of help, and this does help. They're missing an all-star guard like Devin Booker. So, all right, let's keep going with the comments. Logical saying, Gary really played great on defense this game. In every passing lane, crowding rebounders and jacking the ball. He was on point last night for sure. The defense he played last night fits the team, not going to lie. Yeah, that's the whole knock on Gary with Nick. He's like, if you want to be on this team, you have to fit it. And Mike is recognizing that he fit the defensive scheme and the way the team likes to play last night. And that's fantastic. I love to see it. And maybe a game like last night tells Bobby Webster, invest in this guy because he's a real one. And we need him for the things he does on the offensive end. And then boom, he's stripping balls at the other end. He's going in there and fighting for rebounds against big guys last night, which I really love to see because we don't see Gary on the boards very often. But he was doing that last night. He was mixing it up, and he was coming away with rebounds in the crowd of Suns at time last night. I love that. That was really good stuff to see. Jimmy Pope's here. Good morning to Raptor Freak Jimmy Pope. Happy New Year, brother. All right, let's see. I love Gary in the starting lineup. It adds a level of swagger to our team, and with our half-court offense woes, he definitely helps. That probably the only one that can make separation with his shots. Yeah, whether it's making his own separation with his little sidestep or just making them have to space the floor because they have to look for him and look out for him. He does really help. Pascal Siakam open up the floor to get to the basket easier with his spins. So, yeah, I mean, listen, he was out for a while because we had bench scoring problems, and he was working really good off the bench. I think that the message here is we can do whatever we want with Gary, and we can't lose. We want to bring him off the bench, it'll work. If we want to start him, it will work too. And Jordan Bolton's really saying he needs to start now because of what happened last night. And in some ways, I agree with him, but also in some ways, I don't. I really do think that in some ways we need that offensive punch off the bench when we have our whole entire roster healthy. That I don't know, starting him over Fred, or maybe Fred needs to be that guy off the bench. That may be what it gets to at this point. I don't know. It's very interesting. And the status of Gary and what happens with him with our team over the end of the year is going to be very, very intriguing. And we're going to have to watch and see what the decisions are made. Nameless is here. Good morning to all my Raptor Freak familia. Happy New Year's to you, Nameless. And clap, 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 and poof, party time. Yeah, I love it. Monique is saying 3 stars of the game for Monique are Gary, Trent, and Junior. Gary Trent Jr., Gary Trent the second, and Gary Trent Jr. Those are her 3 stars. Just kidding. Gary, Pascal, and Koloko. She likes Koloko last night, and I can't disagree. Koloko was very interesting. He played quite well. He didn't look out of place. Part of it is that Koloko was playing against Ayton, and Ayton and him both went to Arizona. They're alumni of the same university. So I think that that's part of the reason why there may be a little bit more safety and familiarity playing against a guy like Ayton, because they know each other because of their alumni from the same university. So I'm sure DeAndre Ayton is a friendly person to Christian Koloko, and that they are both big men from the same university. So that's part of it, I think. And also, Ayton doesn't really give a shit at this point. I mean, they did play him really well, and they did stymie him. But honestly, he has given up on that team. He really has. You can tell. All right, let's keep going. But good job, Christian. I like him taking the 3, obviously, but also 3 for 3 from the field. 1 of 2 at the free throw line. I still don't like he misses free throws all the time. 4 rebounds, 1 steal, plus 22, 8 points. Now, this is something interesting about Christian. And, as much as I diss him starting or playing too much, in some ways, the statistics support him playing more. And it really is that, first of all, he has the highest plus minus on the Raptors team. This whole season, pretty much, he's had it. Thank you, Freddie Rivas, for putting that up in our Facebook group on Give Me Raptors News Facebook group. For every time before the game, I do the ref crew check, and he does the plus minus check. And Christian's name has been in the top of that list for the last few months. That's an interesting thing. Brian Windhurst. Well, if he has the best plus minus, and he had the best plus minus last night, maybe he is really having an intangible impact on the court that you can't really quantify or measure, because he's just a presence, and he is he puts people away from the basket because of his defense and his possible shot blocking, and that he is a factor on the down low in ways that we cannot totally measure. That his plus minus is a very interesting statistic and indicator of things. And maybe this is a big reason why Nick has tried to really force him into the starting lineup and playing him. It's really weird. Maybe it's a really high risk, high reward kind of thing, where it's like he's going to make rookie mistakes and he's going to look really overtly bad at times. But also at the same time, overall, he's causing us to be winning more still. I don't know. I don't get it. I'm going to have to pay more close attention to this. And I just want Christian to clean it up. In fact, it was weird. Nick was talking about Christian last night after the game and saying that when he got his MRI this week after he twisted his ankle in the Clippers game, he got a perfect record for it. They looked at his ankle and they said, your ankle is actually perfect. We did not detect anything. And Nick thinks that because they told him his ankle was so strong, he felt like Superman. And then he came back with well, it actually was a weird phenomenon where the MRI actually bolstered his confidence, because he's like, wow, I am really healthy and strong, and maybe I can play really crazy. And that Nick says that Christian came at the game last night with a new energy of confidence because the MRI went so well. I've never heard that ever before, but it makes sense. It's kind of like if you go to the doctor for your yearly checkup and they say, you know what, you are fantastically healthy for how your age and like all this different stuff. And then you still like, yeah, I feel real good then. Because self-perceived health is very much real health. I learned this in grad school in my studies in demography in mortality is that you can really adjust how you are health wise for real in your body by the mind. That if you think that you're sick and you have all kinds of problems with you, you will be that bad, and your perceived health becomes your real health. So listen, you can be crazy and say, I feel so good, I feel so strong, and you may actually change your health through your mind, even though you just perceived it. It may have been something wrong with you, but because of the power of positive thinking and your perceived health is so good, you actually heal yourself. I really do believe in this. So always remember, y'all, that this is just a life skill. Your health is your perceived health. So if you perceive that you're not healthy, then you won't be healthy. But if you perceive that you're healthy and strong and in good shape, you will get that. It's crazy the correlation between this. When I studied this in grad school, I thought it was such a weird concept that you could just make up your health in your head. Well, it's true. If you want to be unhealthy, you would feel it and think it in your body. But if you start thinking, I'm healthy, I'm strong, you'd be surprised the outcomes. And I think this is what it is. Christian found out he had a clean bill of health on his MRI, and he felt like Superman afterwards. And he came out with a new purpose and a new energy and a new kind of like, I'm not scared because I'm strong kind of feeling last night. And that was part of what happened with him, apparently. It was really funny was Nick was talking about that an MRI made him get confidence and came back really strong. I thought that was hilarious. All right, let's keep going with the comments today. I really love all the stuff so far. Mike is saying Gary Trent can play harden ball, but our half court offense was a mess last night. Gary and Spicy used a lot of ISO to score, not going to lie. But there were some nice passes from Scottie and other good things seen. Yeah, our assist number wasn't super high last night, but it didn't matter. We got 20 assists. And we could have done better there. But listen, there were a lot. The stats that we won last night are crazy. I mean, we did win the shooting battle. We got 10 more shots than them on the goal, and we made 5 more field goals. And both teams shot 49%. So I like that. They beat us in threes, 3 more 3-pointers than us, and they did shoot the threes way better than us. But we made up for that with the turnover differential. That turnover differential was so stark and big that them getting over twice the turnovers that we had, 27 turnovers for Phoenix. Oh my gosh. And 12 for us. That was the game right there. They even out rebounded us 42-31. We did better on the free throw line than them, which was good. And then let's see, the hustle stats were huge for us. 15 steals were huge for us. Those 15 steals coming from all over the place. In fact, we're going to have to go and look at and give kudos to the people who got most of those steals. Points in the paint, we won that also. That is all good stuff. I really, really like that. But the turnovers were such a huge part of this whole thing. That, listen, part of the reason why we struggled so much in the last month or so is other teams know that they have to protect the ball and not turn the ball over to not allow us to do well. And this is a big reason why we've struggled. Other teams have really, really got their shit together and been really good about not turning the ball over. And that's a huge part of where we get our offense from. Well, we see a team like Phoenix last night that are casual with the ball and they are turning the ball over. Well, boom, we get a lot of success. But it's going to be hard for us to win and get these turnovers off good teams that really know that that is our key to victory, that they are really being misers with the ball and they really don't want to have turnovers. Teams like the Celtics, the Sixers, the Nets, these teams don't want to turn the ball over to us. And that's how they've won games against us this season, by really taking care of the ball. So we got to figure something out. Do we have to rely on them to turn the ball over to win? We need to figure out other ways to win also. That could be part of the way we win. But, the way we won last night, it was very, very heavy on that. And we can't depend on the other team being sloppy and turning the ball over as much as Phoenix did last night to continuously win against a lot of teams in this league. That it's really going to be bad, sloppy playing teams like Phoenix that we can win against. But a lot of the good teams that take care of the ball, we're going to lose against. So this isn't a winning strategy in some ways. It really, really isn't. We can't depend totally on turnovers and getting them in. Now let's look at those guys who got those steals that I want to give kudos to real quick. On the Raptors side, the guys who got the steals were, well, first of all, Thad Young off the bench, 4 steals. He was just really active and annoying. And I love the stuff he was doing in the paint with some of the moves, like taking them to school and putting up those little left-handed shots and flip shots around the basket. He was 4 for 7, 8 points, 4 rebounds, 4 steals. Fantastic steals. And also, Thad Young did not play in the game against Memphis. So he was actually kind of like, it may have been the kind of thing where Nick sat him so he would be totally fresh for Phoenix. And that may have been totally a decision because we needed some fresh legs for the game last night, seeing it was a back-to-back, even though it was a home and home back-to-back. But Thad getting 4 steals, and then Scottie got 3 steals himself. Gary got 3 steals. Those guys were fantastic with the steals. And then OG also with 2 steals himself. Good stuff by those guys getting in the passing lanes and messing up the offense of the Phoenix Suns and getting turnovers and easy baskets the other way. That is so key to us winning. We cannot rely on the other team, though, giving it up because some of them will take care of it so well. They will dry us up on our offense. So we've got to figure out other ways to score also, whether it's offensive rebounding or just shooting and making the shots in the first place, Raptors. Just make the shots. Jeez. Oh, my gosh. All right. Monique is saying, also happy to see Dowtin get some burn time. Love, love, love the celebration. You called it, Lex. Way to go. Scottie shutting down was huge. Aiton, who? Laugh out loud. Let's go, boys. Yes, Monique. Monique is already celebrating New Year's. She started partying for New Year's last night after that great game. Monique was like, it's party time, party time. She knew it. She's having an all-day celebration today after the Raptors beat the Suns last night. I love it. Yeah, I really do love Jeff Dowtin. I really, really love this guy. He's just such a cool dude. And I can tell he's a student of the game. And I just want to see more and more of him, Nick. He is a Raptor. Keep him in a Raptor uniform. We need this dude around. Trust me. I have a feeling about him in the next couple of years that he's going to do some major important things for the Raptors. Just some weird little feeling I got. And he's somebody that we need to retain and keep around. And he should be our backup point guard, honestly. I really do believe that. Shutting down Ayton was great. Like I said, Nick had a really good plan for him. He will not divulge because he has to play him one more time. But yeah, he said they did it to a T. You can kind of tell what they did. He wanted to take little short shots near the basket, and we really irritated him. It was kind of like, okay, we'll let you get your spot, but we're going to mess you up with your shot while you're in the middle of it, and you're going to miss. You're going to get a lot of like clankers off the iron and just barely miss the shot. And that really was Scottie and Koloko and people like that just kind of getting in his face and irritating him when he wanted to shoot. They know the scouting report on him, and they did it really well last night. They did it really well. Tom Duke is here. Good morning to Tom Duke. Happy New Year, Tom Duke. Always good to see you. Naco the Nacho is here this morning. I want to tell y'all something real quick. Today is December 31st. It is New Year's Eve, and it is Naco the Nacho's birthday. Happy birthday, Naco the Nacho. I want everybody to W Naco the Nacho on his birthday in the stream. Say, happy birthday, Naco the Nacho. We hope you have a fantastic birthday today, and happy New Year's, my good friend Naco the Nacho. That's right. He's saying he's watching the replay of the game right now. We real lucky to have Gary. I agree with this, Naco. It's like we need to feel lucky and blessed that this man, Gary Trent Jr., is on our roster right now because we really need the three-point shooting. We really need the scoring. Like, where would we be without his 30-something points last night in the score last night? He really was the best player on the court last night. And I'm sorry. Like, I know that he may be our best trade piece, and this contract thing in the summer may be crazy, but I think we may be needing to have him on our team no matter what, because he is exactly what we need more of on our team. And when he's hitting and he's shooting so well like he has in the month of December, it makes it real hard to be like, you know what? We can't get rid of him. We really can't. He seems like he's mandatory, at least for us, to be able to even try and get any kind of offense. Mike is saying, salute real ones, Project Truth always. And Naco, I finished watching the replay like 30 minutes ago. New Year's is going to be busy. 3 o'clock, Raptors 905 at Iowa Wolves, playing the Minnesota Timberwolves G League team today once again. Let's beat their ass. Let's go, Delano Banton. Let's do it. Excuse me. All right, let's see. Tom Duke is here also. Yes, sir, ski. Gary technicals by refs should be more consistent. Gary just looked at the guy after that dunk, and what did Nurse deserve one for? All right, yeah, let's talk about this bullshit from Josh Tiven real quick. We saw something very weird happen in that whole situation. We saw Nick Nurse get absolved of his technical. I don't know if you caught that, Tom Duke, but listen, this is the whole way it happened. I'll explain it to you real quick. Gary gets a fast break. He makes the dunk, and the guys, when Gary goes to the hoop, these guys are taking cheap shots at him all the time, and I'm sick of this shit. You get up in the air and he's going somewhere. He can't protect himself. Meanwhile, guys are hitting him or they're trying to block him at the same time. It's very dangerous. But Gary always treats it all with very classy and casual and doesn't get mad, even though these guys are taking cheap shots while he's in the air. And when we used to play street ball, the guys that did that kind of shit were getting somebody coming at them with hands afterwards. You're going to try and hit me out of the air like that. So in some ways, it's kind of bullshit to do that to him in the first place. Well, the guy came and contested him, and he made the dunk still, even though he came at him. And listen, this is what he did. Whole reason why Gary turned around and looked at him is because the guy was near him, and maybe it's instinctual from playing in the streets or playing somewhere else that you have to protect yourself. And it may be that he needed to turn real quick and face him just in case he's coming at him throwing hands. And I don't think he would be, but that may be part of the instinct is you need to turn and face the guy so you can see if he's coming at you. And I think that's all that was. He did not say anything. It just looked really bad. It looked like he was taunting. It looked like he was kind of like, yeah, I just threw it down on you. And yeah, what are you going to do about it? But no, it was really more, I think he was just trying to find out where the guy was just in case. And that's all it was. Well, it was a dumb tech. First of all, we've gotten some really stupid ass techs recently, like the stuff that happened with Dylan Brooks and Pascal Siakam the game before. And then this whole incident. Well, Gary gets a tech, and then Nick comes out in the court. And he's like, what's going on? What happened? What happened? And they give him another tech. Well, this is the dumb thing is that the Phoenix coach, Monty Williams, had called the timeout. So Nick was in his rights to come out on the court and talk to the refs at that time because the ball had been dead. And part of the reason why Josh Tiven gave him the tech was because he thought he came on the court during the live ball play. And that is a technical. So he wasn't giving Nick a tech for like yelling at him or anything he said. He literally was giving it to him because he came on the court and he thought that the play had been still live, like they were still trying to play. Well, he didn't realize that Monty Williams had already called a timeout. So what he did was he came over and explained to everybody, and this is how he explained it to Matt and Jack. Basically, he said, I did give a tech to Nick, but I have absolved him of the tech because I didn't realize Phoenix had called a timeout and that he could legally be on the court to complain about that call because it wasn't anything he said. So they took that technical back. And I've never heard of that before. I've never seen that happen ever, where they just take a tech back. And in some ways, I appreciate that from Josh Tiven, that he realized he fucked up and he said, oh, I mean, I can give the one tech to Gary, but giving two, that's a little bit overkill. And rightfully, like he took it back and he admitted he had made a mistake and he absolved him of the technical. And Jack started talking about, what is he, papal? He's like the Pope. He's absolving people of their technicals or something like that. But it saves Nick money and it saved us a free throw. But it was still a sketchy and weird situation. But at least Josh Tiven tried to rectify it and fix it a little bit. I still don't think Gary deserved that technical, but in some ways he did a move that is considered taunting at this point in the league. And it's not that he had any intent or said anything, it just looked bad. So that's that whole situation with that. Plus, there were problems with the challenges last night. They were kind of fucked up and stupid too. Yeah, they were not being nice to us in those ways. But once again, we know the Raptors have to beat the other team. They have to sometimes beat the ref manipulation on top of that. And we did see a nice thick layer of, well, not a real thick layer, but we did see a layer of 100% Canadian maple syrup throughout this game for the most part, with the Raptors having a double-digit lead for a lot of the game in different places. It was close from time to time, very much threatening to come back, Phoenix, at different times, but we did keep that lead. And at the end, it was close, and these kind of manipulations could really fuck this up with the refs. But it didn't happen that way. We made it. We managed the game at the end, even without Fred VanVleet available, and won. And that's really good. But yeah, the refs were doing a little bit of shady shit. And I thank you for bringing that up, Tom, so that I could explain what happened with the Gary Trent Trent Jr. technical, and the Nick Nurse one that got taken back. So yeah, Jimmy Pope is saying, how about Koloko with that three? Put a big smile on my face as in him. Getting meaningful minutes definitely going to pay dividends for him. It's funny because Nick said in the press conference, yeah, that's the play I drew up. He's like, that's what we wanted was a was a Koloko three for that. And he's like, yeah. And he's like, not being serious at all. That is not exactly the shot they wanted, but it was within the realm of this play that they called that was the logical breakdown to that point of hit. That's what happens. It's like Koloko's supposed to take the three in that situation. When the Phoenix Suns react to the play the way they did with the rotations, that was the right play. And just thank goodness he made it. In some ways, Nick made it sound like if he had made it or not made it, it would have been the right play. If he had made it, it was the right play. If he didn't, it wouldn't have been the right play. So it really was dependent on him making his first ever NBA three-point shot in that situation. And the joyousness on the bench, this is just kind of stuff that the Raptors team has needed in the last couple weeks with how dark and bad things have been going. The joy of Christian Koloko hitting a clutch three and seeing Fred do this little robot move down the side of the court and just everybody jumping up and down. Jeff Dowtin Jr. is one of the biggest cheerleaders on the bench these days. He's always over there cocking a gun or something. I don't know what's going on with him. And then it was cool to see Precious on the bench wearing a Fat Albert shirt last night. Really weird seeing Fat Albert's face on the court. It's like Precious has been wearing very strange street clothes when he's on the bench recently, like that Raptors throwback the other day with all the purple. It's pretty cool. And then wearing Fat Albert on there. Hey, it's Fat Albert. Hey, what you guys doing? I love Fat Albert, but he really is kind of like gone away because of Bill Cosby and what happened with him. And in some ways, Fat Albert is an important part of culture in some ways. Not, he shouldn't be forgotten in some ways because he's an important part of some people's childhood and lives. And he was a good role model in a lot of ways for people. And it's kind of sad that like the whole disgusting thing about Bill Cosby ruins and tarnishes his legacy of his career. The Cosby Show, once again, was an iconic show and was really important. And then seeing Fat Albert on the shirt of Precious Achiuwa last night really made me think about Fat Albert and what is his place in everything with what happened to Bill Cosby. Can we still have Fat Albert be celebrated and respected, even though that is purely a Bill Cosby creation and something that is totally him? I don't know. Maybe it has to be a thing when Bill Cosby passes on. Then we can celebrate Fat Albert more openly. Because in some ways, Fat Albert and Heathcliff Huxtable are very important icons in certain culture in certain ways, and they shouldn't be robbed of that. Because the Huxtables and the Cosby Show, it may have been like kind of a weird show, but it also was a very good show in certain ways also for people to see a black man and a black woman as a doctor and a lawyer and being professional and living those kind of lives. So it's really, we're going to have to reckon with Bill Cosby's legacy at some point. But I love seeing Fat Albert's face on Precious's shirt because I did love that show when I was a little kid, the Brown Hornet and all that. Oh, it was such a good show. And thank you for reminding me of that show last night, Precious. Yeah. All right, let's keep going. But yeah, I really do like what's happening with Koloko, Jimmy. It looks like he's more confident. And, he was really celebrating his shot on Instagram last night. People were putting him on blast. And it is good because he hasn't had a whole lot to celebrate recently coming in and out of the starting lineup. And, well, finally, a big, huge contribution to the win at the very end of the game. And I'm telling you, Scottie and Koloko are going to get better and better and better over the years to come. And they're going to be a big part of why we win, because both of them can do things in late game situations to help us get baskets. And they're just so young. They're such little young chicks. And they're going to grow up to be big chickens, not chickens. They're just going to grow up, and they're going to be so much better and more important to winning games because of what they do. Nameless is saying, where's the big guy? He's late. Where's the big guy? What are you talking about? I'm not that late. I came in at 9:30 still. Nameless. I came in at 9:30. I was trying to scramble with a couple things I needed to do right before, but I got here on time. Don't even act like it. Callie Mayer's here. Good to see Raptor Free Callie Mayer. Just glad for the win. Defense was awesome. Scottie played great defense first half, especially. Yeah, Scottie was very engaged. And like I said, I just love seeing that versatility of him guarding Chris Paul to start. And then boom, he's switching down on DeAndre Ayton and playing that defensive center at times too. It was a collective effort on Ayton. We saw OG guarding him at times. We saw Pascal coming at him. A lot of different looks, as they said in the broadcast, getting thrown at DeAndre Ayton. And that is a part of how that defense was successful against containing him better. In fact, that's the way we used to do it before. We've been going away from this, that it really is a shared responsibility to handle people like Zubac, Steven Adams, and DeAndre Ayton. And well, when we do share the responsibility in an effective way, we see what happens, like last night. And maybe we needed to share that responsibility a little bit better earlier this week. Yeah, Tom Duke saying, let's go, Lexi. Yeah, right on, Tom Duke. Happy New Year's. G saying, when they asked Gary if Juancho gave him acting tips, he said, no, we're just balling here. That's right. That was a silly question. Like, seriously, that's silly. I mean, Gary's a good looking guy. I'm sure he could go do acting if he wanted to, but he has no priority for that. He doesn't give a shit about that. Gary could go be a fashion plate. Just like Serge Ibaka, he could be running the runways of Paris and Milan if he wanted to. He's not all about that. This is a child prodigy who has been hammered home by Gary Trent Sr. that it's all about the work and the basketball, baby. He's not worried about acting. He's here to ball and ball out and hoop. He's a hooper. He just cares about balling, baby. He doesn't give a shit about doing commercials or movies. Juancho, he's not asking Juancho, hey, when you did that scene with Adam Sandler, how did you get into that mode where you were really sad because you missed your kid? I was like, no, he doesn't give a shit about that. He wants to talk about shooting. He wants to talk about getting open. He wants to talk about hitting 3-pointers with Juancho, maybe. And yeah, that was a silly question. Whatever. I think that Gary Trent could teach Juancho some things about shooting right about now. Nako's saying the teamwork is a lot better than against Memphis. Yes, communication was better. They were more locked in. That wake-up call of a 20-minute film session helped because they told them, look, y'all need to do this. You need to do this. You need to do this to be successful. And, well, I guess they listened and they did enough of those things. And that's why we got what we got last night. A big W. Yes, sir. All right, let's see. Koloko looked more confident in general, not just on that clutch shot. That's G checking in. Happy New Year's, G. Yeah, he did look way more confident. Like I said, it has to do with his MRI this week. Really weird. He goes to the doctor. He's worried. He's probably a little sheepish. It's like, oh, man, I hope this isn't messed up. And the doctor comes out and says, Christian, great news. You're perfect. And he's like, yes, I'm perfect. And then he gets out there and he's like invincible all of a sudden. It's crazy. It's very cool. I like that. Mike's saying I was asking for a dagger and a Kanono dagger. I know that's not what you would have thought. I mean, seriously, if you could have got that parlay, if you could have gotten that little betting side thing, I don't like that betting shit. But this is one you would have made a lot of money off of. If you had put money down that Christian Koloko is going to hit a clutch 3, you would have got paid very well after that one for sure. Let's see. In fact, G, for the Raptors, it's about ball and growing together through playing the game they love. That's right. I agree with that. I really do agree with that. Kareem saying, not the best of wins, but I'll take it. The next 6 or 7 are at home, and I'm hoping we could use this stretch to get back into playoff contention, but most importantly, get our swagger back. I love all that, Kareem, and I agree with you. Happy listen, I was looking ahead at the January schedule, and we got 16 games in January. And that's more than we had in this past month. This is probably the most heavy month with games. We have this great homestand to start, but near the end of the month, we go on the West Coast trip. They hit a whole bunch of West Coast teams real quick. Now, the travel through the first 3 weeks of January is really good. I mean, we're going to be bouncing from here to Indiana, to Milwaukee, to New York, nothing really far. But then that West Coast trip gets crazy. Now, with 16 games, 8-8 would be 500, but we can't do that. We're under 500. So we need to aim for this month. If we're going to have a successful month, I want at least 10 wins, if not 10 to 12. If we could get 12 wins this month, that would mean we'd won 12 and we've only lost 4. If we could do that, that would really right our ship and put us back in the playoff picture. Not the play-in picture. I'm telling you, we'd be in the playoff picture. So let's get a 12-4 month, Raptors. You only lose 4 games or 5 games this month. I would be very, very happy. And that is what we need to be looking at on the overall scheme of things for this month. Is how much we need to win to really right the ship from where we are currently with our record and our placement in the Eastern Conference standings. So get 12 wins in the month of January, and I'll be smiling real big, Raptors. Get 12. We got a lot of home games. We got some tough road games, but let's find a way. Take them one at a time, get the W's, collect them with the good stuff we're doing, and then we'll see where we're at when February comes around. So I want to aim for 12 wins this month. If we can get 12, that'll really help a whole lot of things that have been going on with our record this year. Really, really will. All right, let's see what else you guys are saying this morning. Good to see everybody here this morning. So many different names and always so many good different opinions. I love it. G's saying, I don't know if they want to trade him. I know people have been saying it, but don't see why they would want to. Leaving in free agency would suck, though. Yeah, it would, but it also would mean that money's freed up and we can spend it some other places. It's really they got to figure out the path they want to do with him, with Gary Trent Jr. Is it you want to trade and get some assets back for him before he walks in free agency possible? Or are we going to throw money at him and make him a part of our team long term? I have no idea. It really is wide open and it could go a lot of different ways with this. We just got to trust in Bobby and Masai, and hopefully he'll make the right decisions with Gary Trent Jr. in the next 6 months, next 6-7 months. Monique is saying we are adding someone. I guarantee it. Moving and or releasing Justin Champagnie is very telling. No, yeah, I think you might be right. That to me says, and this is what they were kind of saying on Raptors Tonight last night, is that waiving Justin gives us an open roster spot, and that may mean that we're trading somebody on our team for 2 players, and we're trading 1 player. Like maybe we trade Gary for 2 guys, and we get 2 different guys that are will help us in different ways with problems on a roster. That could be possibly the move that Bobby makes. Is that now he's got an open roster spot. He can trade Gary, and maybe he gets 2 vets, and both of them are shooters. And then we have 2 shooters, and they're maybe not as good as Gary, but they're 2 more in that direction. And maybe they're very well known for shooting. I don't know. That these are possibilities that could happen. And I don't want to speculate too much. Once again, I like to see what happens and react afterwards. I don't try and figure out what they're going to do ahead of time. So, yeah, I think that is telling that they did release Justin, freed up that money, and there is an open roster spot at this point. Mike's saying cutting Justin erased the $1.7 million he gets next year, so they could be looking to squeeze everyone in at the moment. A couple more guys go in time, but next year-wise, they're looking to hold the 24 group longer. Okay, so Mike is saying that they do want to keep Gary around because he isn't in that 20. He's in that 24 group that he just listed earlier with Malachi and guys like that, Jeff Dowtin. So that's very interesting, Mike. And thank you for the numbers and giving us more of a perspective of the salary cap and how much that impacts things. 1.7 million. I mean, it's not a whole lot in the salary cap, but it is a little bit more to be added to the pile that's probably already there. So who knows? We'll have to see what happens. Fun guy saying Gary walking for nothing would be absolutely insane. Raptors would never let that happen. Laugh out loud. If any signs he could leave arise, he's going to be traded. I don't know. I mean, I'm on the fence with this. I know that people get mad about people just walking in free agency and you don't get anything for them. But in some ways, that's not always what matters in the whole situation. It matters is how you want to change your team and transform it. And sometimes that move helps you transform the team easier or faster towards what you want it to be. And that, I don't know, it really is going to be interesting to see how they handle him, whether they do really value having him on this team no matter what. Or they're going to be like, you know what, we can't pay or match what these other teams are offering you right now. And you're going to have to, you get to go. I don't know. We can't know what's going to happen. I don't know if it's insane though to let him walk in free agency. I seriously don't. I can see where that is actually helpful in some ways, even if it doesn't seem like we're getting anything for him. And sometimes it's the money freed up. I don't know. You may be right, fun guy. It may be insane. This is the weirdest situation with Gary at this point because he does really seem like he's invaluable and we don't need to be letting him go anywhere. But also in the same way, he's also very attractive to move at the same time. So I have no way of predicting what's going to happen with him. It's very strange. G's saying, worst case, if Gary wants to walk, I can see him doing a sign and trade. He seems like that type. Even in his interview, he sounded grateful. Yeah, I could see that too. I don't think that he does really love playing for the Raptors. And he wants to be a part of us. It could be very well a situation. He saw how we dealt with Kyle Lowry and how we dealt with his sign and trade. And maybe he's like, I like how this all worked out. Maybe he can name his number with us and they get the deal worked out for the other team. And boom, it all works out better because Gary gets paid the amount he wants because the Raptors dictate it with the team that they're trading with. So, yeah, I can see that too. I think that G's right. So it could be that it's like that fun guy. Would that make it feel better? It'd be handled like similar to what Kyle Lowry went through when we traded him for to Miami. It could be very similar to that. Nate was saying Dowtin was so impressive in his short time. I know. I was really upset when they were bringing new guys in. And I was like, don't take Dowtin out. But they took both Malachi and Dowtin out at the same time. And I really want to see Dowtin eat into Malachi's minutes. Malachi, you have to make your shot all the time. And when you start getting cold, like you have in the last 2 games, I'm sorry. We got to sit you again. You got to go through the whole process of earning your time back out there again. You can have one dud game, but if you have 2 or more string together, I'm sorry that those minutes are too valuable, and we may get way more out of Jeff Dowtin Jr. And that's just how I feel. G saying very excited about Dowtin. Apparently, he is a student of the game, watched tons of tape, and his IQ is very high. Yeah, he is. He very much studies basketball, and he's like at a high level as far as reading things and being able to just very high IQ. And I really like him around our team. He just is so capable doing the smart things and not really doing anything too crazy. Monique saying Chris Boucher looking decent recently. Yeah, he rededicated himself to what Nick Nurse wants him to do, and that's crash the boards. I think that's number 1 on his list at this point. Now, him making open 3-pointer from the corner all of a sudden, hitting a couple of shots that way, that doesn't hurt. But the most important thing I think Nick wants is him to be attacking the rim when our shots go up and putting them back as offensive rebounds. And that when he's not crashing the boards, he doesn't get to play. I think that's what he has to do now to play. I'm figuring it out. You have to be aggressive at going after the boards, Chris, and he will play you because that is your role now, man. You're Rodman, bro. You got to be that offensive crash guy who puts it back, and you're perfect and well suited to it. I'm so glad you've evolved to this because in some ways you really are getting the most out of your body frame, a very unique body frame in the NBA to do this kind of role. You can do this way better than most people because you're not the right kind of length and quickness. And also, you're very savvy and smart about studying it and understanding it now. I can tell you really pay attention to how the ball caroons off the backboard now and where you can project and understand where it's going. It's very much what Dennis did back in the day. He practiced with his teammates and saw how each shot went up off the backboard, and he remembered this is how Pippen's shot comes off the backboard. So I can realize that it's probably going to be more likely to go in this area of the court, and so on. Jordan was shooting. He figured out where the ball was most likely to bounce off of to go rebound at. And that was really smart. And I think Chris is doing that same kind of stuff. Okay, Boston Sports is here. Boston Sports, at least you're being consistent right now. I like it. Great win, freaks. Happy New Year's to everybody. Remember, don't be afraid to get an Uber or taxi so you're not driving drunk. Be safe. I love this message by Boston Sports. And thanks once again for checking in. And yeah, we're happy to have a win last night, to end the year on a good note against the Phoenix Suns. But yes, this is a very important message and one that I champion very hard myself. Being a perpetual drunk driver in my youth, when I was an alcoholic, I drove drunk all the time and I was horrible for it. But I lived in Tallahassee, Florida, where you could get away with it way better than in Toronto. Toronto is way better set up for dealing with this problem. They are going to have TTC free for everyone today. So there's no excuses. Y'all should not be drunk driving tonight. There's cabs that will come get you. You can get on the TTC for free. Just don't drive drunk. Get on an Uber, get on a ride, whatever you get. Just don't get out there behind the wheel when you're drunk. And I know that personally for myself, that I've ruined my life in different ways because of drunk driving in the past. And it really, really destroyed my life. It, in fact, destroyed my body because I wrecked while I was driving drunk, and I destroyed my face, ripped it right in half. That's why I have scars on my face and my lip was hanging off, and I destroyed my elbow. I absolutely shattered all the bone in the middle of my elbow, and this is all metal. in my elbow now, and I can't straighten this arm because of drunk driving and being an idiot. So I really, really highly encourage y'all to be safe, be smart, and make a plan for tonight. If you enjoy going out and getting drunk, then get a cab, get on the TTC, get an Uber, do whatever you can to avoid drunk driving. And that ride check will be out there in the street here in Toronto. Trust me, they will be sitting there and waiting for you. You come around the corner and boom, they're going to be checking you in the window and they'll be smelling your breath and they're going to be saying, oh, excuse me, sir, could you step out? We'd like to have a breathalyzer. And then boom, you don't want to go through that stuff. So be safe, be smart tonight, have a good time, be responsible, and have a plan for how you want to get around tonight. That does not include you getting behind the wheel while you've been drinking. This is very important. And thank you, Boston Sports, for bringing this up. This is a very much something that's very dear to my heart, a subject that I very much am a huge advocate for people being safe and not drinking and driving. Forgetful's here. Good to see Forgetful. Trey Talk is the opiate of the masses. It is in some areas. I don't enjoy it myself. I like my guys on my team, and I don't like hearing talk about this person going this place. I know Monique is the same way as me. We hate hearing about Gary getting traded because we love Gary. We like Gary being in a Raptors uniform. But it's true. There's some people that just really enjoy it. They like get high off of it. It literally, like you're saying, an opiate. It's like, ooh, let's put it in the machine and see what it says. What's the ESPN machine say? That trade would go through. Ooh, I made a trade. Woo, woo. I get a little high off of it because I made a little trade and a green light said, ooh, it could happen. It probably would never happen because you're not looking at all the outlying factors that aren't involved in the numbers just matching up. There's all kinds of other stuff you got to figure out as a GM in the NBA to make trades happen. And just going on the ESPN trade machine and making it up is not realistic. It does not mean that that can just happen like that. But I love that comment, and I think you're right. The opiate of the masses, the NBA ESPN trade machine. All right, fun guys saying, hey, if y'all remember last year, we had a home stretch of 3 games exactly like this when losing, and we practiced hard and turned things around then. I'm seeing the same change last night. I hope so too, fun guy. I think there are still parallels to last year and this year, and that maybe the timeline will be very similar. I would really like that. Today, they're taking the day off. They had 2 games in a row back to back. Today is a mandatory day off, as Nick Nurse said last night. So these guys are not going to be doing anything tonight. And I wonder how much they celebrate tonight for New Year's. Hopefully they do special things with loved ones and make it a special occasion. But I don't think any of them are going to get tore up or get too crazy tonight, because it may very well be that the first day of January 2023 is a practice day tomorrow. And then they're going to go and they got to travel to Indiana tomorrow. So I think that it's a travel day tomorrow. And then maybe they do practice on Monday morning before the Indiana game on Monday night. So, and tomorrow, once again, I'm doing a year in review for 2022, New Year's Day at 9:30 a.m. in the morning, tomorrow morning. And also, I think I might do a little bit. You know what? Let's think of like resolutions for different players. I think that's always kind of fun to do since it's New Year's, and we could do like resolutions. What would be the resolutions for each of our Raptors people around the team, whether it's Nick Nurse, Bobby Webster, Masai Ujiri, Fred VanVleet, Pascal Siakam, Scottie Barnes, OG Anunoby. Maybe we can think of some resolutions for these guys. And if you guys have any for tomorrow, please put them in the comments and we'll talk about resolutions for our team. And also we'll do a review about what happened this past year that's just about to end with the Raptors in the different months of the year. I'm going to look at all their records in each month, and we'll talk about the best months of the year and their worst months of the year. And we'll look at all that stuff. It'll be fun. All right, let's keep going. Jay Conda's here. Good to see Jay Conda. Yeah. We can. Great win, guys. We just need a little help. Center and a sniper, and we're good. Jeff Dowtin definitely needs more minutes. Let's go Raptors. Yeah, Jay Conda. Yeah. We can. That's right. We can. And we are going to do it again. We just had to figure out who again and get back to it. Sometimes you lose yourself and you forget who you are. And search and find yourself again. And I think the Raptors are doing that right now. And once again, another vote for more Jeff Dowtin right here. It's very popular sentiment this morning. Tom Duke is saying, woo, right on up. The records are showing that we're on an upward trend. Jay Conda, woo, let's go. Daddy Gates is saying Ayton looks disinterested and unengaged. And for the life of me, I don't know how Dowtin isn't getting more minutes. Maybe the coaches know something we don't, but they're giving Flynn more minutes. Well, Flynn does have more time working with our guys, and in some ways, he's more trusted than Jeff. But I don't think that that's totally true in the way that like they play. I would trust Jeff Dowtin more to make shots than Malachi at times. I know Malachi's a dead eye when he's on, but we've seen when he is not hitting, he looks really bad, and he doesn't do enough other than shoot 3-pointers to help us. Like if he was a very very good rebounding guard or an amazing playmaker, I would be like, okay, we need him out there because he's doing other stuff if he's not hitting his shot. But if he's not hitting his shot, it's like pull the plug and don't bring him back in. And I was saying that in the first half last night. I was like, okay, Malachi's missed his first 3 shots. Maybe it's not his night, and you need to put Jeff in for the rest of the game and just let Jeff ride in those minutes you would have given Malachi. I really want to look at it that way. And hopefully Nick will look at that way too, because I don't totally understand it. Malachi is ahead of him in the rotation for sure, but in some ways, I want to see Jeff get some of the time, that slice of the pie and time from Malachi a little bit more, because I think there's a lot more to see from him. Monique is saying defense over everything, defense over everything, defense over everything, and then one more time, defense over everything. That's who we are. We're a defensive team. And when we don't play good defense, we are not ourselves. This is part of us finding ourselves again, was finding our defense. G's saying the MRI bolstering confidence shows how important mentality is. Perceived health is a real thing. G is doubling down on what I was just talking about perceiving your health and how you perceive it. You want to think that you're dying? Well, you probably are. You want to think that you're strong as an ox, strong as a bull? Then you probably are. It's really how you want to think in your head. It's crazy how perceived health is such a real thing. And yeah, the MRI bolstering is crazy. What a roundabout way to do things. It's not that I want these guys to all get checked out for all this different stuff. Hopefully they don't find anything, but when they get clean bills of health, it's great. I mean, my mother had heart trouble in the recent years, and she got a clean bill of health from her heart doctor a couple months ago, and it made her feel fantastic. You know, it's that kind of thing. It's like, all right, you did the hard work, you got healthier, and boom, the doctors are saying, wow, you did such a good job. That only helps things snowball in good ways. So I like that. Logical saying Kanono ain't AAU ball broken down like Lonzo ball and things he's facing at the moment. Soccer is high level, but less contact, persevering the body for a longer, later prime. Mike, I'm going to try and figure out what you're saying exactly. Okay, he ain't AAU ball broken down like Lonzo ball. I feel like that's like a play on Lonzo's last name. Soccer is a high level but less contact, persevering the body for a longer, later prime. You know, listen, this is true. Koloko was a soccer player. He's only a basketball player more in recent years. He really was more of a soccer guy. And in some ways, you know, the physicality of playing in basketball is very much different with your body, and he's got to get used to that. Hopefully he will get stronger and he will change to a basketball body like Serge Ibaka and be very strong and be able to hold guys off. Isaac Campbell saying, I hope to be 6'9", healthy and dunking by spring. See, Isaac Campbell's perceived health is he wants to be 6'9". Well, we have to be realistic. Unless you're doing something like Kyle Broflovsky in that one episode of South Park where he got like stem cells in his knees or something, and then he became a basketball player. But then there was folly in that because they just broke, and it was really gruesome and gross on the court when he was trying to dunk. That was such a weird South Park episode. This sounds like that's the treatment you want, Isaac Campbell. Is that Kyle Broflovsky knee replacement that what happened on South Park that one episode? Yeah, okay. If you can do this, you got the money and the resources, you want to do this, I fully support you, Isaac Campbell. And I hope you will be 6'9" by the spring and dunking and healthy also. Let's see. Forgetful saying Raptors management has decided Koloko is worth the investment. He will be pretty good by spring 2023. I think he may be the talk down by spring 2024. I think it really has a lot to do with his strength getting up there and just him being more and more smart and studying and being a student of learning everything faster. That he is a really smart guy and he does have a high aptitude, but in some ways his body may not be as quick as he is mentally learning, and that he's going to have to learn it all through his body and like second nature and having instincts and what to do in the moments. And that may be the hardest thing for him to learn is the instinctual reaction in the moment. But the smarts and figuring it all out and understanding it in theory may not be hard for him. It's just getting it done on the court and translating it to reality. And I hope that that's what happens sooner than later. But once again, a big man project can take up to 4 or 5 years to really fully complete, like being as good as they could be. And, we can't wait for him in some ways or depend on him to be this savior in that way. We're going to just have to get him as he gets naturally in his progression as he gets. But I hope that he's good by spring 2023 because that's right around the corner, literally flipping this calendar to the next year. I love that idea. And I hope you're right. Monique saying, I believe Suns had the most turnovers last night. Please correct me if I'm wrong. They definitely had the most turnovers between the two teams, but maybe the most turnovers their whole entire season. Maybe. Because this is true. The Suns are very good at taking care of the ball mostly. Last night was an aberration. Chris Paul is not a turnover the ball kind of guy too much, but he had a bad game for that last night. And this was, I think they did say last night, the most turnovers that the Suns coughed up this whole entire season. Because I think their average is actually kind of way lower than this. And this was very abnormal for them to turn over the ball as much as they did last night. G saying they're trying to balance development and winning. Clearly, the priorities are Scottie and Koloko for development. Flynn and group are also being developed in practice and getting earned minutes. Yeah, I think that's part of it. And Flynn's gone through the fire in so many different ways. And in some ways, they got to give him a little bit of leash because they know that he'll come around and he'll start hitting these shots sometimes. Sure, he'll miss 4 3-pointers like he did last night. But if he'd taken the 5th one or the 6th one, maybe he'd make the next 2. So we don't know. We'll have to see. Let's see. Logical saying, gee, facts. And Precious got that early unearned burn, but developed enough to the point of earning his place. Yeah, I can't wait for Precious to come back. I was really disappointed when I heard Fred and Precious would not be coming back last night. I was like, damn, that sucks because I really wanted to see them, but they're coming soon. And oh man, maybe on Monday, maybe we'll see you, Precious, on Monday in Indiana. I'd love that. I love that so much. Let's see. Callie's saying, I thought that Phoenix wasn't a high turnover team. They really aren't. This is abnormal for them, Callie, that they had so many turnovers last night. And I guess that's a testament to our effort and just how much we were really putting pressure on them. That happened that way. Nako's getting the love. W's for Nako. Happy birthday, Nako the Nacho. Oh, man, my good friend Nako. Yes, Tom Duke's got the pancakes out, and he's got all the party favors out for Nako. Happy birthday indeed. Gary provided pancakes and waffles for everybody. There you go. Provided by Gary Trent Jr. Pancake and waffle buffet for all the Raptor freaks this morning. Tom Duke has set it up for y'all, but especially for Nako the Nacho on his birthday today. Monique Lawrence is saying, happy birthday, Nako the Nacho. And G is saying, true logical. I think us fans sometimes get it confused by why some young players getting those unearned minutes. They obviously see potential or may even be positional needs they need to fast track. Yeah, I think that's very sound. And, we honestly, it's weird. Nick Nurse has a doghouse. He has favorites. He has people that he has on shorter leashes than others. And this is all part of what's factored into things. I think Jeff is getting good faith, though. He did say some really good things about Jeff in both press conferences the last 2 games, saying that he really likes what he's seen from Jeff. So I think the signs are showing that Jeff may be up here with us more than with the 905 at times, especially if Fred's going to be out. They're going to need Jeff with us. But maybe when Fred comes back, then Jeff gets sent back down to 905. We'll have to see how this works because I really think Jeff can help us on the main roster and that we may need him up there more than they need him on 905. And maybe we switch it around. Maybe Christian, when Precious comes back and Fred comes back, maybe Jeff and Christian both go down to 905 for a while, but maybe not. Maybe Jeff stays and Christian goes down there. I don't know. I think Christian's going to go down there, though, very soon. That when Precious comes back, Christian Koloko may be on the 905 for a little bit just to get some more like long time, like 40-minute games on 905 and see him really kind of get maybe a 20 point, 20 rebound game down there or something. That'd be fun. 6 blocks, something like that, 6 to 10 blocks, 20 to 30 points, 20 to 25 rebounds. I want to see Christian go down there and produce like that down there for a sec. Tom Duke saying, I miss Knicks being absolved. Me neither. Never heard of that before. Cool. Yeah, it was really dumb. Of course, I'm watching the feed that has the in-between stuff, no commercials. So I'm seeing the refs when they're looking at it all because it's the in-house camera. And I'm seeing them at the table watching it. And then like they came over and they talked to Nick and he absolved him. That was the word he said over the mic. He said, I have absolved Coach Nick Nurse of his technical and taken it back. And he is not getting called for it. So that's why they only shot one free throw, is that there was only one tech, and that was the one for Gary. But yeah, absolved him of the technical. Like he's the Pope. I absolve you. Nameless is saying there's so much to unpack in this game. This could be an 8-hour stream if we're not careful. Adriana won't like that. She's here with me for New Year's Eve, and she's in the other room on her computer being very patient while I'm here with you guys. So I don't think it'll be 8 hours. We'll figure it out. I mean, we'll run out of stuff at some point, Nameless, but bring up everything you specifically want to talk about for sure. And make sure we cover that for sure. Everything you guys remember you want to talk about in the game last night, just put it down there and we'll go over it. Yeah, let's see. Mike is saying those are the reasons some rookies get burned and some don't, but defensively capable enables the early burn without too much negative to the point in forcing losses. Yeah, I agree with this. It's really like it's easy for you to get time out there if you're not making any defensive mistakes, because that's the baseline. That's the most important thing. These young guys got to be good. And this is the problem sometimes with Delano is his defense can be kind of flaky at times. And that may be why he gets the quick pull all of a sudden, or not as much confidence in some ways with getting time out there. Now, Malachi's showing that consistent defensive effort right now. And that is probably part of the big reason why he's ingratiated himself to be in the rotation. Is like, sure, he can miss these shots, but at least he's dogged on defense and really hounding the other guards on the other side and not letting them get away from him. So, yeah, that's important. ZZXY is here. Good morning, 9:30 a.m. every morning. We're talking Raptors. Coach Mo, that's Coach Mo. That's right, Coach Monique Lawrence. Superfan Monique Lawrence is here with us in the stream chat. You can find her in many other great Raptors habitats like the Scotiabank Arena. You can also find her at the Raptors Tonight chat. And you can even find her on a Google Pixel commercial. That's right. That is Coach Mo. Let's see. G is saying photos of the reactions to Koloko's shots are so cool and funny. Scottie was so happy. The bench went wild. Nurse trying to shake his hand, reaching over the court from what I saw. Koloko's big smile. Yeah, it's just so unexpected. And this is the joy of the game that we've been missing for the last month. We just needed some fun, goofy shit like this to happen. A Koloko 3 in clutch time? Hell yeah. That's a fun feeling, a good time kind of thing. And yeah, I loved it. I loved all the reaction. All of them were so happy for him. They were like jumping and going crazy. And it's just a nice smile to see that young man get some happiness like that. Koloko had Siakam coming to him and it's like, listen, the country is very happy, Koloko, that you just did this. Is probably what Pascal is saying. Cameroon is celebrating tonight. Good job, man. That's good stuff. Monique is saying, all right, let's see what Monique is saying in her next comment. What do you think Gary Sr. is thinking right now? And somewhere Will is smiling right now after serious comments lately. Will Lou, you're talking about Will Lou. Yeah, Will Lou has been very upset this week. He's been cussing on his Twitter, and that's not normal for Will Lou. He's usually more professional and not so cussy and stuff like that. Gary Trent Sr. is interesting this week. Apparently, one of Gary's little brothers got sucker punched in a game or something. He was playing in a basketball game, and so one of these other kids was dirty and knocked him in the face, and he has a little black eye. And Gary Trent Sr. is showing it off on Instagram and talking about how parents ain't raising their kids right these days, and some of these kids are out of pocket, and you don't correct these kids or get them in control. That's on you, parents. You need to do a better job of raising your kids so they're not hitting people around in basketball games, like what happened to Gary's little brother this week. He has a hurt eye. You go look at Gary Trent Sr.'s Instagram, you'll see what I'm talking about. But that's what he was talking about today. And of course, Gary Trent Sr.'s got to be happy for Junior, obviously, for the game last night. But then once again, Jordan Bolton, he is the voice of Gary Trent in a lot of ways. Gary won't say what he's thinking or feeling, but go look at Jordan Bolton's Twitter and you'll see exactly what he's saying about what he thinks about Gary Trent and what he's doing. And in some ways, he reflects the inner circle of Gary Trent Jr., Jordan Bolton, King Bolton. And he was saying, what a great way to end the year. Myrelli coming out there and killing it. And he needs to be starting from now on, Nick Nurse, is what Jordan Bolton is saying to Nick Nurse this morning. That you saw what he did starting once again last night. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts. This man's a starter on your team. You need to be starting him. That's what Jordan Bolton's saying. So Nameless saying we're turning Phoenix over like rotisserie last night. That's hilarious. It's like a Boston Market or a Swiss Chalet. Just put the spit roast in there and just start turning. Yeah, yeah, we were roasting them pretty good. Real mascot matchup will be interesting on Monday night. I'll tell you that. Logical Raptors fanatics saying converting Dowtin with the open spot. Two-way contracts have no salary hit. Interesting. Interesting. Maybe that is part of the whole puzzle. Maybe that is a route they could go, converting Jeff Dowtin. And yeah, okay, I like what you're saying, Mike. Nameless is saying, okay, he wants an impression of Robert Hussey retracting the Nick Nurse technical. Robert Hussey was interesting. All right, there was that one weird call where he called a foul at the very end of the clock, and they put like 0.2 seconds and they gave free throws to Landell or something. That was annoying, but it was a right call. Chris did push him in the back. But it's kind of annoying because in the old NBA, if it's that close to the end of the period, and everybody's just like, oh, let's go to the end of the period, they wouldn't stop it and like set it all up and give them 2 free throws. And in some ways, that was helping Phoenix make up some points because that play often would just be ignored and they just go back to the bench and it'd be the end of the quarter. And that was kind of annoying. I don't know how to do an impression of Robert Hussey. So I'm going to do a pantomime of this with my good friend, Justin Bieber. Okay. I will be Nick Nurse. And he's Robert Hussey. Sometimes the silence just makes it even more fun, I guess. I don't know what the hell I just did. All right. Anyway, that's my impression of that. All right. Monique saying, go vote for our All-Stars. That's right. Monique Lawrence coming in with the daily reminder, vote for the All-Star team, y'all. Today, I don't know if it's today or tomorrow. I think it's tomorrow. Votes count 3 times tomorrow on New Year's Day. So definitely vote tomorrow. Vote today, but definitely vote tomorrow because tomorrow's the 3 times day. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Cream Thomas is saying, call me crazy, but I'm retaining all our players and trading 2 first. Birch for Jakob, and you can 2 firsts and Birch for Jakob Pertl. Okay. We can make a title run over the next 3 years and just continue to tweak what we have. Fuck 2023 and 2024 draft. Kareem Thomas, man. I mean, I like our team too. It's just that we've had little confidence in them recently because of how bad they've looked. And we just really, what's wrong with our offense? There's a lot of different issues. I don't know. I'm really like, I'm just a spectator. I'm just going to watch what they do and hopefully they make the right decisions and we improve and have good things happen. Part of me is saying what you're saying is like, we need to just stick with these guys because they are a good nucleus. They have a lot of good things going, and I believe in them. But also, part of me is like, this looks so bad recently. It's like, can we really trust them? And do we need a little bit of a shakeup in some sort of way? I still don't like trading Birch. He didn't play Birch last night, which was really kind of weird. But if we could get Jakob for Birch, I would do it. But like otherwise, I don't want to trade Birch just for anybody just to trade him. It has to be something really good, like Jakob Pertl coming the other way. Otherwise, I value Ken Birch a lot. So I don't know. I'm in this weird place. It's like, I don't know whether we should like shake it up too much or really let it ride because there really is some good playoff of good development payoffs coming down the road with our young guys that we don't want to miss. And in some ways, we want them to grow together so that they're really, really close and have that good synergy. And as it comes and grows with Scottie and Christian and Precious, we want, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do either, Kareem. It's crazy. It really is crazy. Also, he's saying, what's bothering me is that we have the same philosophy, but different personnel. This ain't 2019 anymore. So front office either change personnel or Nurse change the philosophy. Something's got to give. Yeah, somebody pointed out recently, the 2019 team had a point guard and a center, Marc Gasol and Kyle Lowry. And maybe we still need to have those kind of things. And like positionless basketball, it may not be our starting lineup, that we may need to still have a traditional starting lineup to be very good. And that positionless basketball is just something that we bring in at times when we need it for the situation, or maybe it's something we just turn on to be overpowering all of a sudden. I think Cool Cat's the one who said that in the last couple of weeks. I like that idea. And that in some ways we need to establish traditional stuff right away with controlling the center of the other team and getting a point guard that initiate our offense so that we can get good, easy baskets earlier and not have such bad, hard time getting our offense going. So maybe we do need to be traditional like we used to with a start lineup that has a traditional five. But in the middle of the game, Nick just says, all right, we're going positionless now, and then we're going to play a big lineup now. I don't know. We're still trying to figure this all out. It is true that, like, in some ways, people want to look at our team like the 2019 championship team, but this is a totally different kind of team at this point, and they really shouldn't be operating in the same kind of mindset about what to expect from this team as a team that had Kawhi and Serge and Mark and Norman Powell. So it's such a weird time in the Raptors' history right now. We're really at a weird crossroads and in a weird in-between time of development between like a really good era before. And in some ways, this new era that's coming is not the same era. And I think this is what Kareem's trying to say right now in his comment here. Mike saying, Logical Raptors Mag saying, Kareem, we're about rebounds now because we don't have the same shooters. In 2019, we didn't care about rebounding as much. I would disagree with this, Mike. Rebounding has always been very important to our team. It's actually increased in how important it is. Sure, I'll agree with that. But even when we had like the Jonas, DeMar, Kyle, nucleus with like Terrence Ross, Patrick Patterson, those guys, the amount of rebounds and how important people like him and Bismack were in the past Raptor teams for our rebounding and out rebounding the other team was always important. So rebounding has always kind of been one of the most important things the Raptors have done in this winning culture since Masai's come. It's getting more emphasis and even more essential and important for us to win. I think that our team was such a good rebounding team during the championship year also. When you have Marc Gasol, Serge Ibaka, Pascal Siakam, Kawhi Leonard, these are all really good rebounders at their positions, and we were an exceptional rebounding team then. But in some ways, we have to really rely on winning the rebounding battle more than we did before. I know Chev said this a couple years ago before we started the season. He said, if we could get this amount of rebounds, we're going to win most of our games. I think the number was like 45 or 50. And it wasn't even in relation to how many rebounds the other team gets. He just wanted to see the Raptors get to a certain rebounding plateau every single game. And that he had figured out that when the Raptors rebound that much, we win the games. And I remember Chev saying that a lot at that point in time. And that was like kind of how I am with the assist goal of 25 assists for the Raptors. He was the same way with the rebound goal back then a couple years ago. But I think that it has always been super important, but maybe more important than ever right now. I'll agree with that. Jody White's here again. Good to see Jody. Even more of a fan of Trent Jr. after Nurse having talked to team and Gary having a big night. I'm old school. Hell yeah, Jody White. You go old school, Jody White, Raptor freak Jody White. I love it. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Gary today. I've always kind of been a fan of Gary for sure. But, seeing him be more consistent in the last month, we've seen his ups and downs with hot and cold shooting. But when he's really on, and we could tell he's so capable, like he's such a bucket. Like you even see Malachi take an open three, and we were like, oh my God, I hope it goes in. But with Gary, more often than not, you have way more confidence that he's going to make it. And one of the things that's really valuable about Gary and his confidence, in some ways, it seems like it's separate from the team's overall confidence. Like Malachi may get kind of messed up by the team not making a lot of shots and the confidence overall in the team is really bad. But Gary's kind of like ignorant of it or arrogant enough to say, I don't give a shit if everybody else is missing. I have my own shot and I'm going to be consistent and make it myself. It's like he's not susceptible to our bad shooting woes himself because he's in his own little like place with his own shooting and his confidence. And I really respect and like that, especially since we get into bad dry spells where we don't have confidence shooting. Well, we need at least one guy, even if he's unrealistically crazy and saying, I'm just confident, I'm going to make everything. And he may not be, but he will have that confidence no matter what. And in some ways, we need that more on our team, that kind of shooting confidence. We don't have enough of it. And we've lacked it this season. That's why I'm really hesitant to get rid of Gary in any kind of way of any trade at this point. He's shown he's essential for our team in some ways. Logical saying Lonzo Ball can barely walk at the moment from his dad driving him into the ground in AAU, and those shoes he had did a lot of damage to his body. He's cooked physically already, and that's why Pelicans weren't on him. Yeah, and the Bulls haven't seen him play recently. Okay, that's what you meant about this. The Koloko was saved from this because he didn't go that route in some ways. Okay, I get what your point was earlier now. Yeah, it's too bad. The Bulls are in a bad place, but once again, they're still above us right now in the standings, just barely though. It can change real quick. Monique is saying resolution for Fred, of course. For me, should he go to the surgery this offseason coming up? Absolutely. His wedding didn't even happen yet. Get his mind right, et cetera, et cetera. I don't know for sure if Shantae is pregnant, but I'm pretty sure she is, and that he's going to have another child in the next few months. So there's a lot going on with Fred on the outside, not to mention him and Darnell's company that they've been running, this marijuana company. There's also, like you're saying, he's supposed to be getting married. And if he's trying to plan a wedding in the middle of the season also, and it's the knee problem too, with whether taking surgery, yeah, we got to figure, Fred's got to figure his life out. He's got a lot of things going on all at once. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay. So we'll do New Year's resolutions tomorrow, but I like that you're starting it up today. Space Cadet saying Fred VanVleet's low back flare up has nothing to do with surgery for his previous injury. That was his knee, bone bruise. Yeah, we know that, but we've talked a lot about how Fred did not opt to take his knee surgery this summer, and maybe that was a mistake. I've been talking about with a friend of mine in Calgary about him getting a shoulder surgery for something that happened to him recently. And they were talking to him. It's like, you could heal it on your own, that you don't need to get the surgery. If you want to heal it, you could do it in rehab on your own, like just working out. And that may be similar to what happened with Fred this summer. It's like, look, you don't need the surgery for sure. You could actually rehab and fix it that way. But in some ways, maybe the surgery is what Fred actually does need to do, because this is a lingering problem with his knee from time to time still. But you're right, Space Cadet. Right now, it's his back is seasoned up. And I think that has more to do with Robin Lopez doing a big splash on him when we played Cleveland recently. Logical Fanatic saying, when a massive guy lands on you in the area of your lower back and you're recovering. So, yeah, it's going to be jacked for a hot second. Yeah. And Mike is referring to that same incident. I'm talking about Robin Lopez being a goon, putting him hard on the floor, and then landing on him, and then laying on him for a little longer. It's like laying on him, and Fred's pushing him, trying to get him off of him. Monique saying, can we celebrate Jack on 25 years of broadcast? You missed my comments. We love you, Jack. We love you always. Go Raptors always. Monique, are you putting comments here, or is it in other places you put comments? I try to read every single one of your comments. If I'm missing any of them, please just repeat them, and I'll make sure I say what you guys say. Yes, congratulations, Jack Armstrong. Much to the chagrin of the Philadelphia 76ers fan nation, Jack Armstrong has been broadcasting with the Raptors for 25 years, and he got his celebration last night, and much deserved. I loved watching the video montage of his moments over the years, the times with him and Chuck Swirsky in the early times, and then later on with Matt Devlin. Early him and Matt Devlin, the way their hair looked different, and then like the evolution of Matt Devlin on edibles and acting real crazy, and then Jack being crazy too, wearing like Drake's teddy bear suit. And then I was wondering, are they going to put that clip in this montage? The Ron Jeremy clip. And yes, they did include it at the end. It's just an important part of the whole story, even though it's embarrassing and kind of funny. But yeah, that was included in the clip, and he got a standing ovation, as he should. But once, like after Raptors tonight, they were all saying, well, Jack's been around here for 25 years. That's great. We should celebrate it. But what about Paul Jones and Leo Routens, who are sitting here next to him, who've been here for the whole time, the very beginning, 28 years for those guys. So, but congratulations to Jack. Of course, he needs to be celebrated. And I love that whole package with how many different people were on it, giving him the wishes, including DeMar DeRozan and Chuck Swirsky, people from the past. And I really love that whole thing. And he totally deserved it. I love giving kudos to people like that. And Jack deserved it. And it's so nice to see it in the arena with all the fans. All right, let's keep going. Let's see where we're at with the comments. Mike is saying, Sorry, beforehand, not gonna lie. The Saturday Logic drop this week is a big one. A lot of development stuff. All right, 2 o'clock today, Logical Raptors Fanatic will be dropping his latest content on his YouTube channel. So y'all follow Logical Raptors Fanatic and see what he's got going today at 2 p.m. It'll be out. So check it out. Highly recommend. Daddy Gates is saying Koloko just needs a good weight program and needs a lot of film work to get his IQ up. He has the basketball skills, but just needs development. Yeah, I agree with this. It's going to take some time, and big men always take a little bit longer. But he's really promising. I mean, there's been flashes at times, and I told Scottie this after one game. We were watching the highlights earlier this season that he made a pass with Koloko in the lane, and the way he set it up, it looks so much like Magic Johnson passing to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and like the 80s Showtime era. And it's like, if this is a flash of the future for the Raptors and this kind of synergy between Koloko and Barnes as young players for the future, I am all in on this because this will be very, very good. And I said that to Scottie. I said, Scottie, you guys could be like Magic and Kareem in a couple years, you and Koloko, with your synergy and his height and his ability to do things and your passing and your height too. You guys could be a similar kind of that thing. I'm not saying exactly or as great, but definitely closer than a lot of people could be in that kind of comparison as two players to that. And people may say, you're crazy. You're thinking they look like Magic and Kareem. Well, there's a lot of the same elements in both of them for their counterparts in that comparison. Let's see. Tom Duke saying Nurse wants Koloko to nail threes because he knows he can hit them. Gary's sentiments were the same about feeling his teammates can nail threes at a high clip. Raps are overdue. Yeah. Yeah, we need to get our 3-point average up again. We need to start getting out of the cellar in a lot of like team stats league wide. We're like near the bottom in a lot of categories statistically. And I don't like that. We shouldn't have any like glaring weaknesses. The shooting is one of them. And we got to get the law of averages up so that we can start getting better shooting. It's going to happen. It seems like, such an aberration how bad we shot this year. There's going to be a correction in a positive way for us in the second half of the season. We shot so bad in the first half of the season, it logically makes sense that we're going to get some luck and we're going to overcorrect to make the average more correct for what it should be for our team. That it's been comically bad how bad we've shot this year so far, and maybe it'll be comically good at some point going forward. Omari's saying 47. 47? That's how old I am. I'm 47 years old. I don't know what that's in reference to, but hey, 47, that's a good number. That's yeah. Okay, let's see. Mike's saying the no rebounding thing led to Baines and Len in Tampa. Masai said he was sorry for getting the wrong guys, and it was based on what the team needed versus copying what was. Yeah, I don't want to think about them right now. No reason to bring up Tank Commander and Alex Len, the starting center for the Sacramento Kings recently. Daddy Gates is saying, I personally think Nick Nurse should go back to the original starting lineup from last season. The bench needs a shakeup. So you want to see a Fred, Gary, OG, Pascal, and Scottie starting lineup. I'm not against that because that did really work very well last year. And he was so stubborn about using it last year that it really worked. And in some ways, I don't like Koloko starting. I still don't like it completely. I mean, maybe he's fast tracking his development and really getting him hard minutes, but I still don't like Koloko starting. I think he's been effective in bursts off the bench more than when he starts. I think last night was a special case because Ayton was somebody he could start against and not get burned by. But there's so many other centers he's going to get burned by, out muscled, out vetted, and just outsmarted by. And he shouldn't just be like penciled in as the regular starting center for us. It should be a very special occasion when he gets to start, in my opinion. That's the way I feel about it. Evelyn's here. Good morning, Granny Evelyn. Good morning, Raptor Free crew. Gary Trent revealed himself last night again. Let's go Raps. Well, I love that he's revealing himself, and hopefully not in a dirty way. Evelyn, but good to see you, Evelyn. I'm glad you're back in Toronto and back home safely. Cowboys here. Good to see Bradley. Good morning, Lex and Raptor Freaks. Let's go. I'm saying Scary Gary brought the swag and attitude to the team, and Koloko with that 3 brought the fun and energy back to these teams. It was great to see. Yeah, I like to see it too, Bradley. And you were right yesterday. You were saying that we are going to see good things from Koloko and also that we get the win last night. And you were right, Bradley. Thank you for coming in with the positive vibes yesterday in the preview and helping it to make it come true. You guys have a great Happy New Year tonight, Bradley and your family. G saying, I think Omari's meant 47 rebounds is what Chev said. Okay, that's what his goal was. He was saying 47 rebounds was the goal. Yeah. Okay, so you reminded me of that. Yeah. Yeah, okay, that's right. Okay, that's what the number was. Thank you for clarifying that, G. And Monique saying John Morant's comments on Scottie were spot on. Yeah, let him have some time. He's going to be great. And just give him some time. He's got to develop and do the things that he needs to do to become the player he's supposed to be. All right, once again, we have a game today at 3 p.m. Against the Iowa Wolves. In Raptors 905 are there. Brett Haskell is our crew chief. Cameron Gilenes is the referee. And Kenneth Gardner is the umpire. I have no information on them at all. Let's just go over the game last night, just real quick. Some really quick look over on the other side of the ball. Chris Paul, an interesting game, 20 points, 12 assists. He did have 6 turnovers. That 2-to-1 assist to turnover ratio is not that good, Chris Paul. 6 of 12 from the field, though. What it is. And then, Bridges, really annoying. He's all over the place. He's doing just really annoying stuff. 21 points, 6 and 9 from the field. And then otherwise, they had 2 other guys in double digits. Torrey Craig and Washington. Now, let's talk about Wainright real quick. Ish Wainright was annoying last night. He had 4 steals. He hit 3 big threes, and he was just really like a busta. Like, in particularly, I saw him being super physical with Gary Trent Jr. last night, and it was bugging me. Now, Wainright was on our team in training camp last year, and so maybe he does have some extra get up against us. But the dude looks like he got filled out more fat. Like, he's very solidly thick, even more thick than he was when he was with us in training camp. And he's kind of a goon, kind of a brute. Like, he was very much annoying me last night. We got to remember, Ish Wainright isn't like the same age as the other guys. When he was on our team, he was like 26, 27 already. So he's an older guy, even though he hasn't been established in the league for like that long. And that is part of the whole thing. So he's like this bigger, older dude, and he was kind of bullying Gary Trent last night. I didn't like that, but Gary made his game speak louder, and he got more points, and he was the player of the game, so it didn't matter. But there was some physicality between Ish Wainright and Gary Trent Jr. that I did not like, and I thought that Ish was kind of being a goon. He really did annoy me last night. Out of all the Suns, Ish Wainright was the one who was pissing me off the most, for sure. But yeah, that Landale guy was interesting. He came in and got 11 rebounds, was kind of annoying on the boards. Yeah, it was an interesting game. Dario Saric at one point got busted open and was bleeding like crazy out the side of his head, and Bismack had to come over and look at it. It's like Bismack's on the Phoenix bench, and he's like, "Oh, I want to see this blood." And he had to come up and look at it real close at one point. And Bismack didn't play last night. That was interesting to me. No Biyombo last night. We love seeing Biyombo, though. But Ish Wainright, fuck you. All right, and let me just real quick go over the Raptors last night in the game. Siakam, fantastic. You got your help last night. We've been crying out for Siakam to get some help from people. Well, Gary Trent Jr. stepped up and helped him last night. The other thing about Siakam that's really interesting about the game last night is this is a fantastic, incredible thing. As bad as our month of December was this month, we were 5-10 with our record, the Raptors. Pascals Siakam scored the second most points in a month for a Raptor in the history of the Raptors ever. That there's one month that Vince Carter scored more points, I think, in the history of the Raptors, but this is second. What Pascal did in the month of December in 2022. That this is I think it's like 420 something points that he scored this month. And it's the second highest point total scored in a month by a Raptor in the history of the franchise. So you go, Pascal. But that's also indicative that he's doing too much for our team, that we're relying on him way too much this month. And that even though he's played so well, you look at our record and you see what it gets us. So we need way more balance and way more help for him. But fantastic individual accolade this month, Pascal, with how much you scored and how healthy you were, and just some of the amazing games you had, including that New York game in Madison Square Garden recently. So you go Pascal Siakam, get it in the record books. You're the second most highest points total ever in a month for a Raptor in franchise history this month. That was fantastic to see and hear last night. And OG Anunoby, pretty much a mix of everything. We got a couple threes, we got a couple steals, we got him playing defense here and there, and we got him to score a bit. He was my third star last night. I thought he was way better in the game last night than he was against Memphis. In Memphis, the Memphis game, he looked lost at times and just not dialed in. And I love that he took accountability for not playing well or really being zoned in on what he's supposed to be doing in that Memphis game. And like, listen, talked about it in the post game, said, yeah, it's me. I got to play better. And then he showed that he did try better and played better the next night against Phoenix. So good job, OG, taking yourself accountable and listening in that 20-minute film session that's uncomfortable, but realizing that you already ahead of time knew that you are a part of the problem and that you need to do better as the glue guy and most important defender on our team. So you go OG Anunoby for making the adjustments last night and doing what you did. Scottie Barnes, pretty good game, not horrible. Some nice passing, some good rebounds getting in there. 11 points, a very timely three late in the game. 3 steals, can't get mad at that. Christian Koloko, one of the most important games of his career so far, with a big 3 late in the game, and just a lot of fun. A plus 22, our highest plus on the team, and our highest plus on the team overall this whole season. And what does that say about Koloko and what he's doing? We could just minimize the rookie mistakes. He's doing a lot of good things to help us win. Gary Trent Jr., player of the game, 50% shooting, 4 of 11 from 3, 9 of 9 perfect at the field, 5 rebounds. I love that. Gary's not really a rebounding guy. And as I said earlier, seeing him get down low and mixing it up with the Suns to get rebounds and fighting them for him, that I love that. I love that development. He's not known for trying to go after the boards. He very much doesn't get boards often. And while getting 5 rebounds last night, that's a good, interesting thing that happened. Thad Young, fantastic off the bench, 4 of 7, 4 steals, 8 points. His plus minus wasn't very good. Nick Nurse said that and noted that after the game, that Thad Young and Chris Boucher's plus minus wasn't good, but he was very happy with both of how they played. He said that their energy was really strong. They were getting all over the place and doing a lot of good things. So even though it looks bad with the plus minus for Thad Young and Chris Boucher, he was actually really happy with them. So it's good to hear that Chris Boucher is getting out of his doghouse. And I also like that he didn't play Thad for the Memphis game and kept him fresh-legged for the Phoenix game, because I think in that some ways that was a really smart strategic move, because we needed a little bit of fresh legs to carry us home in the victory last night. Too bad about Juancho and Malachi. These guys are got to shoot better. This week has not been a good shooting week for the two of them. Malachi did better earlier in the week against the Clippers, but not in these last 2 games. He's an O-fer pretty much, and so is Hernan Gomez. We need you guys to hit threes desperately, so do it. And then finally, the bright spot. One of the bright spots in the last couple games, Jeff Dowtin Jr., only 4 minutes last night, 1 for 1. We are starved for more Jeff Dowtin Jr., Nick Nurse. So can you play him? Please play more Jeff Dowtin. The fans want to see it. We really like him. And I think that he's a big part of our success in the future. I have some weird feeling about him. I really, really do. That he's going to hit some clutch shots and he's going to make big plays and he's going to help us be a very good winning team because he's our backup point guard. So I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, let's keep going. Tom Duke is saying, what's the ideal stat line that our team should be getting or can we expect? What stat line do you want specifically, Tom? Like I say 25 assists is a good one. Chef says 47 rebounds. Some of the stats are more important than others. I could say that one of the things that could be real important is that we need to shoot at least 45% from the field. That I hate shooting like in the 30s. That's really bad. If we have to shoot between 40 to 45%, okay, maybe we can still win. But shooting between 45 to 50% or over 50%, that is where we need to be. If we could shoot over 50% a game, that would be fantastic and ideal. But I will take 45% and above. It depends on what the stat you want to talk about, Tom, and then we can go over that one specifically. Daddy Gates saying, remember, Ish is a football player. Laugh out loud. That's right. You're right. He is a football player, changed into a basketball player. And that is part of the reason why he's such a big, thick chunk guy. But he's even bigger than he was when he was here with us in training camp. He had those broad shoulders, but he has more around the middle right now. And that's an interesting to me. Like he's kind of like one of these thick guards that's kind of a muscling kind of guard that pushes people around. But he can be very much like beat on defense too. Like a big guy like Scottie can push him out of the way because he's taller and just shoot over him. Let's see. Race Mode saying, Happy New Year. Looking forward to seeing this team healthy and winning again in 2023. You guys are awesome. Let's go. Thank you, Edmund. Happy New Year. You guys have a great night tonight and safe celebration. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. And yeah, we'll keep this Raptor Freak train rolling into 2023. We ain't going nowhere. No, we ain't. Yeah, Biz Daddy. Nameless is saying, I was so glad to see Wainright have to take that L. So satisfying. Yeah, in some ways I was too. Because if they had won, he would have been a big part of the reason why they beat us. And I didn't want that to happen. In fact, there was a little bit of scariness. You know, Cali stress meter at the end of the game with the closeness and the way we've been falling apart at the end of games and allowing teams to come back and win a close game all of a sudden right at the end. Ooh, a little nerve wracking. But thankfully, everything worked out. And you know what? The crowd got really loud at times last night. I appreciated that. There was some really good defense chants late in the game that did help the team with their energy and trying to close the game out and not let them score on us. We had some great periods of time late in the game where Phoenix did not score for a while. And this has been a signature of our team in the last year, in the last 2 years, is we get these scoring droughts where the other team doesn't score for 5 to 7 minutes at all. And we did have that a bit late in the game last night. So that's a good sign. We need these scoring droughts for the other team because our defense is so good. We want to see that 24-second shot clock run out and they don't even get a shot because we're just all over them with our defense. Yeah, I loved seeing them take a loss. We needed to win. Oh my gosh. Fun guy saying, yeah, not a fan of Ish anymore. That dunk Gary went up for and Ish ran into him and almost injured him. What a bum. We get it. You used to play for the Raptors. Move on. Yeah, it was a little dirty. There was a play where he pushed him out of bounds too near the Phoenix bench that was very dirty looking too. Yeah, there was Gary was taking some abuse last night, and he's such a pro. He's so classy. He's not exactly in the most comfortable situation. The ambiguity about his future with the Raptors is very probably stressful in some ways, but you wouldn't see it. You can't let it. It's not showing. And he's not out there complaining or reacting or getting upset. Once again, Scottie's doing a little bit too much reacting after getting hit all the time and spending too much time kind of getting at the refs about getting hit for different things. You see Gary get hit, and he doesn't even flinch. He doesn't even care. He's like, okay, yeah, you hit me. I'm going to go make the next play and keep playing. Scottie, maybe pay attention to how Gary handles things like that. And maybe you could be more like that in some ways. I think it's important that you politic that you're getting hit and that you need the calls. But at some point, you are also causing problems for our defense because you're not locked in and you're spending too much time trying to talk to the refs and tell them about what happened the last time down the court. So let's keep going. Monica's saying, W Stream Lex, go Raptors, always keep at it. Great coaching by Nurse and the crew. I'm happy. How can you not be? Yeah, I'm pretty happy about things too. Also, I really am with the game last night. I just like that we're getting a win before New Year's. We needed it. All right, we're gonna come up on 2 hours, so I'm gonna finish it up with the last few comments, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Kenrick's here. Kenrick Chronic James. Check out Kenrick Chronic James art on Facebook. If you need any art commissioned, Kenrick can do the job for you. Check it out. He did a really nice Raptor Freak piece of art for this channel. You can see it in the photo gallery on this channel in the gallery. Morning, I'm glad our team showed what they are capable of late in the game. As Sam Mitchell says, they told on themselves. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. We were in danger of setting a precedent that would have gone back to when Sam Mitchell coached our team. If we had lost last night, that would have been 6 home losses in a row. And I hate that. That's disgusting. 5 losses at home in a row is already bad enough. And we didn't need to get back to old records that were set around like 2005, 2007, 2008. We don't need to go back to being that bad as the Sancho Bargnani Bosch years. And yeah, it's really, really good we won that game last night because we did not want to have 6 losing game streak at home in the 6. It's just not the numerology we want. And so good job stopping that losing streak at home, Raptors. That was in some ways very, very important. Very, very important. Let's see. Nameless saying, I don't think that Vince Carter's stat as a point leader for a month will be touched. We'll never be that bad again. Hopefully you're right, Nameless. And who knows? Who knows? It could be we could win, and Siakam's having a crazy monster scoring month also. Who knows? You never know. It used to say there will never ever be somebody who will touch Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's scoring record career-wise in the NBA. It's just impossible. Well, it's possible, and we're seeing what's happening. You could say another thing like what's happened in Portland recently with Dame Lillard overtaking Clyde Drexler as the all-time scorer for the Portland Trailblazers. That was not easy, or didn't seem like that was possible either. Well, Lillard's done it. So never say never. All these records can get broken at some point. Fred VanVleet's 55 in a single game will get broken at some day by a Raptor. There will be records that will get broken. Kyle's records will get broken for career records here. DeMar's records come up and take them. And they may be some of our young Raptors that are playing for us right now, like Scottie Barnes or Pascal Siakam, maybe getting up there at some point. We'd have to see what Pascal's trajectory is with his career points and whether when he's going to get up there in the area of Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan for all-time points for the Raptors franchise. Don't think any record is safe. And even that Vince monthly scoring record, that one too. It could be that Siakam has an even more incredible January next month, and he beats it next month. That'd be crazy. Let's see. Logical saying W Stream next year's going to be bigger and better than last year. Moving on up. Go Raps always. Project Truth always. Thank you, Mike. Yeah, I feel good about 2023. We started 2022 very well, and we kicked some major ass and got in the playoffs. Well, let's see if we do it again this year in the second half of this season after a pretty disappointing first half of this season so far. Canadian Cowboy saying if Nurse lets Koloko shoot more threes and he makes them, teams will have to come to defend that. And then we're going to see him do a fake and get some monster dunks and his confidence go through the roof. That's a tall order, literally, because he's a very tall man. But also, I think it's a tall order because it's not going to probably be likely. I think that three-pointer last night is going to be a once in the blue moon kind of thing, at least initially in his early career. Now, he could end up being like Jonas Valanciunas and become like a three-point shooter like crazy later on in his career. But I really do kind of think of him as being similar to Jonas in that way, that he's not going to be a three-point shooter or a known three-point shooter in his early career, but he has the ability to do it, and he may be developed more and more as he becomes a vet over time. So we'll have to see. G's saying, is it just me, or does Scottie have some of the same expressions as LeBron after getting hit when frustrated, etc.? Very expressive. And Tom Duke agrees. I can see that, G. Yeah, I think so, maybe. Once again, the parallels that Scottie has to greatness are there. People hate him. He has haters online. LeBron and Kobe had haters. Michael Jordan had haters. People are asking about him in post-game interviews, the opposing players. Oh, he's going to be a special one. Kevin Durant saying, oh, this guy's going to be good. Ja Morant saying it. You know, all these guys come and see him and they talk big about him. This is all stuff that happened to Kobe, LeBron, and Michael before him. That's what I'm saying. This telltale signs that Scottie is actually really great and is going to be very great are all there. His peers recognize it. He has the aptitude and the ability and the talent in him, we know, and it's the work ethic. He's in the right place. We're going to figure this out over time. But yeah, he's a superstar. He has haters. People hate him. And just like people hate LeBron. And that is a good sign that he's going to be very, very good. So, yeah, we'll have to see what's going on. And you know what? The comparison to LeBron's facial expression, LeBron to me is always like, and Scottie's more like, I don't know. We'll have to see. Maybe a little bit. Name was saying Wainright reminds me of PJ Tucker a little. Yeah, he's just a little thick guy who's kind of bouncing people off of him like a bumper in a pinball machine kind of thing. Yeah, I can get behind that. All right, guys, thanks for joining me today. Happy New Year's, Raptor Freak Nation. Be proud, stand tall with your team. We have a lot to celebrate tonight because hopefully we're on the right track for 2023 going into it, and we can get more W's coming up real quick. Please like, comment, subscribe, share my channel. It all helps, and I really do appreciate your participation day in and day out and all the fun we have on this channel. I really do look forward to getting up in the morning and joining you guys and talking about Raptors every day. It is a very, 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 very special, important part of my day, and I really, really do enjoy it. And I don't take it facetiously or for granted. I feel very, very lucky and blessed that we share this time together and we get to express ourselves about the Raptors like this. I love you guys. Happy New Year's. And please be safe tonight once again. This is not the night to do stupid shit and drive drunk or do crazy shit. Be very, very smart. Let's see real quick. Tom Dick saying, Happy New Year, Raptor Freaks. All my best to you guys and Alex and your loved ones and everyone, even Boston sports. Cowboys saying, Happy New Year's, Lex and Raptor Freaks. Going to go get a 6-game win streak to start the year off. Let's go, Rap City, baby. That's right. W's from Mike. G saying, Happy New Year's, everyone. And Monique is saying, Happy New Year's, everyone. Go Raptors. That's right, y'all. Have a great day, and I'll see you next year. Let's go, Raptors!